Alright everybody, so once again, apologies for my art skills. This is meant to be a diamond shape, so if you can envision a diamond. Sorry I spent the last 15 minutes looking around my house for a yardstick and couldn't find one, so I guess we'll have to make do with this. Alright, so this could be any number of body paragraphs, and they don't all have to be organized or shaped like this. But essentially, each body paragraph is going to start off with a topic sentence. And for those of you that might kind of sound familiar, even a little bit antiquated or childish, going back to like middle school or elementary school, it's what you're thinking of. It's basically your one sentence in which everything else that comes in the paragraph is meant to reflect back on that. So in the last video, in the introduction, when we were coming up with our thesis statement, we talked about 3 different body paragraph topics. We talked about the different types of sauces that they had. We talked about the different origins that they would likely have, and we talked about their different values or worth as a company. So let's say we wanted to do sauces, all right? So my topic sentence needs to reflect that this paragraph is going to be focused specifically on the sauces. So given that I'm not as familiar with all of Raising Cane's different sauces, I am going to have my laptop open over here so that I can actually see what the sauces are. Apologies to everybody that's a big fan. I've only eaten there like twice in my life, and if you think it's because I love Chick-fil-A so much more, I've probably only eaten Chick-fil-A like once or twice in the last year. So it's not that I like one over the other, just I oftentimes don't eat out a whole lot. So let's see. All right, so our topic sentence needs to reflect the fact that we're focusing on sauces. So essentially, when it comes to variety and things like that, I know each one of them have about half a dozen at least different sauces. And while some of them might be similar, the majority of them are pretty specific to each restaurant. So our topic sentence might be something like, despite their differences, both Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's have a significant selection of sauces unique to their restaurant. So I'm not trying to say one is better than the other. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm simply saying in this comparison contrast kind of style, you're acknowledging they both kind of do their own thing, and then just by virtue of you having that as your topic sentence, it should signal to your reader that the rest of the paragraph will be built up on support for explaining why you're talking so much about these particular sauces. Sorry, I'm attempting to connect to the internet so I can actually look up what the different sauces are. So in here, we might talk about the different types of Chick-fil-A sauces. Let's see. Well, if it'll load, hold on. Okay, so I finally found the menu for the website for Raising Cane's. I don't want it to track me. Okay. So they have a cane sauce, just like Chick-fil-A has a Chick-fil-A sauce. Let's see. Well, I know Chick-fil-A has the Polynesian sauce, the Chick-fil-A sauce. They have a honey mustard. They have a barbecue. They have some kind of like a ranch of some kind. Anyway, we'll just move on. It's constantly trying to track my location, and I'm not a big fan of that. So what we would do within here is sort of, after we have our topic sentence where we talk about both of them have a wide variety of sauces, then we might talk about listing the different Chick-fil-A sauces, listing the different Raisin Cane sauces. If you can find the data for this of when they came out with each sauce, because they didn't all just dump them all on the public at the same time, that would probably also be something really interesting. Also, if you could find data that showed which ones get ordered the most. I know at Chick-fil-A, because I'm guilty of it too, a large portion of the population goes with either their barbecue sauce or their Polynesian sauce. I'll confess, I'm a Polynesian sauce guy. So you may want to find between the two restaurants, does just about everybody that goes to Raisin Cane's get the cane sauce? Does just about everybody that goes to Chick-fil-A get the Polynesian? You know, if you can find how much they sell of each, that would also be something interesting to note there as a supporting detail. Another thing, and I don't think Raisin Cane's does this, is in the last year or two, Chick-fil-A has started bottling and selling their Polynesian sauce and their Chick-fil-A sauce in stores. So that gives them added revenue that Raisin Cane's might not have. So those are some of the things that could belong as support statements within the body. So we have our topic sentence, which everything in here needs to relate back to. So this whole paragraph in this particular body paragraph should just mention sauce. If you find yourself talking about French fries or buns or customer service or the cost of the meal or something, throw it out. It doesn't belong in there. You should just be talking about the sauces, their history, the different kinds, the different kind of ways they make money for the company, things like that. When you get to the last sentence of the first two body paragraphs, so you only do this when a body paragraph leads into another body paragraph. So for example, in your introduction, that's leading into your first body paragraph, but because your final sentence there is your thesis statement, you don't have a transition. Your final body paragraph is going into your conclusion, so you don't really have as much of a transition there either. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to link these body paragraphs together by previewing in the last sentence what is coming up in the next paragraph. So we talked about sauces, number one. We talked about origins being the second paragraph. How do the companies get started? And then we talked about what their worth or their value is. So if this one is all about sauce, then our next one is going to be all about their origins. So what you might do is have a transition statement at the end of this where you kind of wrap up talking about sauces, but then you make a subtle kind of a statement that lets the readers know you're going to be going into the origins next. So our transition statement might sound something like, with all of these different sauces, it's important to realize that in the beginning, many of these were not part of the original menu when these companies were founded. So what that does is that lets your reader know that you're finishing up talking about sauce, But then the next topic sentence that they're going to come across, the very next thing when you start a new paragraph, is going to be you talking about the origins of the company, because you specifically mentioned that not all of these things existed when the company was founded. So that's really, really important to do, especially with your first body paragraph and your second body paragraph, because each one of those is going to be leading into another body paragraph. So for at the end of your first body paragraph, your second overall paragraph, and your second body paragraph, your third overall paragraph, you need to have transitions at the end that allow your readers to understand where you're going next. So topic sentence and support, which should all point back to the original topic sentence. And then at the very end, a transition from what you have been talking about with a brief mention to what you will be talking about next. So that's a simple way of looking at a body paragraph. We will take a look at our conclusion paragraph and break that down a little bit more in depth in the next video. All right?